This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles, on the Rockstar Radio Network. On the show today, you'll find out where book publishing is going and how to take advantage of it. How to identify and avoid publishing predators. What opportunities are emerging as the book trade evolves in new forms. How to avoid losing money, and much, much more. Join us now as a variety of publishing pros will deliver insights and strategies to take the author to the next level of publishing. It's your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. Brought to you by Author You and the Book Shepherd on the Rockstar Radio Network. And now, here's your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Well, I have to tell you, last week was an amazing event that one of the authors that I had book shepherd and a member of the Author You community launched her book. And the book is a women's fiction. It's called To Tuscany with Love. And good friends of theirs said, you know, you've always done so much for us, Gail. We'd like to give you a little party. Well, we have redefined little. And when we walked in, picture this. You have the entire entry of a country club with vases of sunflowers. Remember, the title is called To Tuscany with Love. As we entered the main ballroom, the only ballroom, and the one that would be the site of the book launch, we were greeted to our left by two gentlemen playing mandolins. In front of us was a 2-foot-tall ice sculpture, front and back cover. It's embedded in a sea of shrimp, of oysters on the half shell, of lobster cocktail, crab cocktail. As you look around, there's an amazing snaking buffet of Italian delicacies that you would serve in the opening appetizer round. There is a ravioli dish that people were salivating over, and they didn't have shrimp cakes or salmon cakes or crab cakes. They had lobster cakes. There was a beautifully laid out espresso cart that had mochas and lattes and chais, and you fill in the blank, it created it. There was a dessert cart with the best of the best, and by the time you hit the dessert cart, you might as well just rolled everything on your hips. Over 250 people packed, schmoozed, drank, cheered. Author Gail Mancini had such a fabulous presence as she thanked a few of the people, just told the attendees what the book was about. And she didn't know most of these people. They came out because friends of friends of friends. She sold over 250 books. She hit #1 on the bestseller list here in Colorado for fiction. And here's what she did, which I've talked about in the past, is she partnered with our independent bookstore here, the Tattered Cover, and just said that I'm going to supply the books. Every book that comes in, we are going to run it through the Tattered Cover as a sale to partner, so money went back into the community. It was a huge, over-the-top, unbelievable success. So when we have done a program on book celebrations before, this is the kind of thing that I've talked about, the venue, the location, the site, bringing it all together. So your book not only is above the clouds, it puts the clouds down another level. That's what you're trying to do, is you create something a little bit different. Now, I wouldn't have wanted to written the check to cover this event. And that little affair that Gail walked into, she had no idea that her friends were going to go so over the top. But you can make events without spending thousands of dollars. You certainly can do that. They can be just as successful. They can be bringing people in. I know I did an event that the maximum amount I spent on it was $600, and that was for these goofball pins I made. But it sold 560 books. So there's a variety of things you're going to do. We're going to talk about books and book events, as we always do. With me, we have a new friend to Author You, your guide to book publishing, and it's Kathy Mace. And Kathy has created this wonderful gem of a website that you all should know about. And it's called Bublish. And it's all about bubbles. And it's connecting the author to the reader, which is what we're all after. She is the founder. She's the president. She actually has her roots in South Carolina. So her weather is warmer than what we have in Colorado, as we talked this morning. But it's a great problem-solving way to discover who your readers are, connect them, and you start a talking point, literally using her bubble idea. So, Kathy, welcome to the program. Let's get into this.
Yeah, hi. Thanks. I wish I'd been at this event you threw. It sounds fabulous and so smart as well. So very exciting to listen to that. But, yeah, I'm very excited to be here, and we're all about, creating buzz around books as well and getting people talking about them, very much like the events you're talking about. And ours is primarily through social. So, yeah, we created the book bubble, and that is a powerful little microsite that authors can create right from their books. So, as you know, social has incredible opportunity for discovery, but the challenge is you have to kind of feed the beast a lot of content. And when you're writing books, and the world is asking you to write more because books sell books, so the pressure is on to even write more books as an author. You need to have an efficient way to talk to people about your books in the social space without always having to write a huge blog post. So we really thought about this from the writer's perspective. I've been a professional writer my whole life, and a ghost writer, and so has my partner, Charles Reich-Smith. And to us, it was, what's your best content? Well, it's your book. So we enable the authors to basically select an excerpt from their book after setting up a social profile, and then add the story behind it. We call it an author insight, and that's kind of a director's cut. It's a very powerful way to connect and start conversations with new readers. And then you basically share these book bubbles into social space, and they have the book synopsis, your bio, your photograph, an image of the book cover, and the author insight in the excerpt. And they can be shared by the people who encounter them. They don't have to be on the Bublish platform in order to share your book bubbles, read your book bubbles, and even buy your book right in the social space from a book bubble.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm actually, as you talk, looking at your website a little bit. So I want to tell everyone what it is, and it's Bublish, Bublish.com. And that I'm thinking, well, when we're off the air, I'll sign up for it and jump into it. I probably should have done it beforehand. But it doesn't say, what's the cost, Kathy?
Well, it is free. We basically make our money from the retailers. So when someone buys your book from Amazon or Nook or wherever they buy your book, the retailers give us an affiliate cut. We will be launching. Yeah, we know. Perfect. The cost of digital books has come down. There's new authors don't have. We want it to be a tool that's affordable and scalable for the authors. We will have promotional campaigns that authors can sign up for that will be paid. We will also have premium accounts down the road because we know that authors really need metrics to start to figure out what the best time and place and content to market. And so we do see premium accounts, but Bublish will always have a free way to promote your books. And we have authors getting 10,000, views. So we're really starting to get the word out about some of the authors who are using the book bubbles on a regular basis to promote. Well,
one of the, and I think one of the issues is, it's certainly for me, I run in kind of an OD form, that I've got so many things going on between the different channels that always the thing that surfaces, do we need one more? Do we need one more? And how much time is this going to take on this? I love the idea that right now it's free. I notice on the website it says that it's in beta format still, so you're still testing?
Yeah, I mean, we basically beta for most of the upcoming campaigns, but we launched, we won the O'Reilly startup in 2012, and then the International Digital Publishing Forum actually asked us to launch at Book Expo America in 2012. So,
that's always fun. Great.
Yeah, It was fun, and we were one of 10 startups from around the world asked to do that. So it was quite an honor. So we now have, thousands of authors all over the world, actually, because, social is really global from the start. So right from out of the gate, we had people from all over the world joining the platform, which was also a really cool thing. And I, like you're saying, writers only have so much time, and we did not want to be like a walled garden where you had to be signed up as a reader in order to enjoy a book bubble. It was very important to us that authors could benefit both from the platform when people were signed in, but also from the great network effect of social. So, like I said, if an author creates a bubble, it should only take them like a minute. It's basically the author insight is the main thing that they need to add about introducing the excerpt or telling the story behind it. And they 1, 2, 3, they share it, and it's published to Bublish.com, and then it's shared to either a Twitter or Facebook, or you can email them as well. And we continue to add APIs with different platforms. But
so this would be something. Easy. Yeah, what I'm hearing you, like, for example, I have a book that I'm launching next month, and it's called, I have 31 books, but, the new one is called Snappy, Sassy, Salty. Wise Words for Authors and Writers, and there's all kinds of bubble stuff I think that you can do on it. What I have to do is see the whole format, get into it, and play with it a little bit. And I think that's what we all have to do with that, is you have to play a little bit, and then you decide how to do it. But really, the author does become the driver of getting the bubbles out. You don't really do anything. Is that correct? You just have the platform for it?
Exactly. Yeah,
okay.
This is created by the authors, but I will tell you the biggest thing, because usually when authors hear the word book promotion, they kind of go,
I know, it's the glaze. Kathy, it's the glaze in the eyes. And you know what, everyone, get over it.
But I will tell you, do you know what the word that you hear when they create a book bubble? That was fun.
Oh, well,
so
fun.
It's supposed
I love
to be
that idea.
Very, yes, so...
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. Take a quick break. We'll be back with Kathy. We're talking book bubbles.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these on the Rockstar Radio Network.
Is there a book in you or another? Author U will show you how to create, develop, and publish your book without being hoodwinked. If you already have a book out, you'll find a supportive and brainstorming community that's connected and creative no matter where you live. Author U brings in national experts for its book camps and annual author extravaganza held each May. It has regular meetings and delivers webinars for its members on timely topics. Through Author U's extensive network, members enjoy exclusive benefits, including significant discounts for a variety of services necessary to publishing. The Resource, its online book publishing news magazine, is content-heavy and it's free. If you want to create a book that has pizzazz, punch, and panache, Author U is for you. If you're a hobbyist or a casual author, it's not. Join Author U today through its website at authoru.org. Follow Author U on Twitter at Author U and on Facebook at Author U, where timely author and publishing tips and articles are posted daily. Author U, where the author goes to become seriously successful.
Sell stuff? Do you want to sell books? Lots of them? If yes, you must take credit cards, the most widely used form of payment today. The free terminal has created a special program for your guide to book publishing listeners. No contract. All equipment is free. Extremely low rates and no termination fees ever. Contact Alan Dean at alan@thefreeterminal.com or call him at 303-668-6828. The Free Terminal has handled all credit card transactions for both Author You and Judith for over a year. Don't wait another day. Contact Alan at thefreeterminal.com or call 303-668-6828 and tell him you want the no-contract Author You deal.
Every picture tells a story. And it's a truism that people do judge a book by its cover. Nick Sellinger and NZ Graphics have been in the business of producing superior graphic cover design and interior layout for self-published authors, independent and traditional publishers for years. He has developed a reputation for excellent work, fast turnarounds, and best of all, affordable pricing. NZ Graphics also produces ebooks and book marketing materials such as posters, sell sheets, postcards, bookmarks, business cards, logos, and more. Books designed for his clients have won multiple book awards, including Best Book Award by U.S. Book News, multiple Evie Awards from the Colorado Independent Publishers Association, Indie Book Awards, the San Francisco Book Festival Award, and Freedom Medal Award from Valley Forge. Visit www.nzgraphics.com or call 303-985-4174 for more details about making your book the success it should be. Mention that you are an FOJ, friend of Judith's, and that you heard about NZ Graphics on your guide to book publishing.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask on the Rockstar Radio Network. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Well, I'm always on the prowl for new things. I like gizmos and gadgets and widgets. I tell you, I do. I'm one of those people, if I watch a television show and my God, the infomercial comes on, John turns it off immediately because I love seeing stuff that works. And so what we have with us is the creator, founder, visionary, Kathy Mice, who is behind Bublish. And Bublish creates these phenomenal little bubbles that you can do and go back behind the scenes and create a platform. You literally upload your e-files into it, and you can start extracting and pulling things, and you go in and they've got their categories on the website. You find out where you go and you start finding your readers, so you can come back, and it's a whole new vision that you can drop into Facebook, which still gathers for authors, something like 80% you can drop in and move in that area if you can figure out the rules of the week are dealing with Facebook, but that's a whole nother discussion. But Kathy, we're talking about there's ways you can do branding with this. You can talk about, really this is about discovery and a whole new way to discover you. And that's where it's critical for the author to be discovered. So Kathy, what can you add to that? How does the bubble add to the branding, and what do they exactly look like? Can you describe it for our listeners?
Yes. So our goal was to create a highly visual and highly shareable piece of content that would help authors brand both their books and themselves as authors. So all in one screen, the author's book cover, a picture of themselves, a bio, a synopsis, a link to their website. That's all auto-generated in this small, very visually designed thing that does still highlight what's most important, which is the content of the book and the author's voice. And these can be passed around through social networks, shared with friends, so you start to get the network effect, and you also start to have ways to share your book without having to feel like a salesperson. I mean, the most difficult thing, and people talk about Twitter or Facebook as being these big cocktail parties, and here you are, you walk in, and how do you start a conversation that's comfortable for you as an author, but also focused on what you want to talk about, which is the content of your book. So book bubbles allow you to start those conversations, and you never have to say the words, buy my book. You can simply just say, hey, I'm sharing the story behind this excerpt from chapter 1, which is set in a place that I love. Or, there's 1,000 stories behind each story you write, how you create your characters, why you choose your settings, why you're interested in the genre you're interested in. And if you share little pieces of that, you're not only sharing samples and kind of unleashing your book in little samples all over the social networks where people can encounter them, but you're also creating a voice and a brand for yourself around the stories, your creation story as an author. And, the most powerful brands in the world have turned to storytelling because we live in an age of incredible content abundance, and our brains are wired to engage with stories. So we just think authors are the perfect storytellers, of course, and they need to realize they can use this as a way to market their books powerfully, as well as write, the books themselves.
Well, and that is what about, and authors do have to get over it. I mean, the membership of Author U will repeat it back to me. What are my favorite words? Get over it. That's one of my favorite phrases. Is that number one, you're the best person to do the marketing because who knows your book more intimately than you? That's the first thing. But number two, there is still this myth floating around, Kathy, out there that one of the reasons why so many authors still dream of being picked up by New York, because number one, it says I'm a good author, but number two, they believe that they will become a kept author, and number three, that they will do all the work. So all of those are wrong. And there's a lot of books published by New York that should never have been published at all. Number two, they do minimal work in getting things out. And number three, there is no such thing unless you're Dan Brown or someone of that caliber and status will be a kept author. So that's my summing up on that.
Yeah, the budgets are gone, even if you are traditionally published, and we have both first time, we have best-selling indie authors, we have traditionally published authors. Pretty much anyone who is an author has to build a platform, do the marketing, and make sure that they're reaching new readers. And so it actually doesn't really matter anymore how you're published. I think there's a lot of new opportunities for different types of business models, but you really do have to become an authorpreneur.
Absolutely.
Age, Yeah.
Absolutely. If you want to be successful, if you want to limp along and have mediocre sales, if you want to limp along and gaze in your belly button, you can keep doing it the same way you've been doing it. But if you want to make your mark and make sales, and you've got to have partnering and finding out about the new gadgets and gizmos, and platforms are out there. And here's one, Bublish is absolutely designed specifically for you, the author. How much better could that be? And right now, it's free. Even better. So
it is, and because we really do understand the economics that authors face, and to me it was about creating a more democratic way for authors to put their work in front of readers. And we can't guarantee that readers are going to love your work. You have to create a quality work, and I'm sure you say that all the time to the people who you work with. That's your best book promotion is a great book. But what if you think of the reader right now, like in the old days, it was always you walked into a bookstore, everything was curated, the gatekeepers handled all the distribution channels. Now there's just massive amount of content. So it's a place where social proof and branding become much more important because people don't know unless you have a powerful brand like you're talking about, that you're creating quality content. And not only is there, is it a money thing, but it's a time thing. So there's, it's very important that you create social proof, that you brand yourself as a quality author, that you tell the story of what you put into that product, that book you wrote, this series you wrote, and that people can start to see that social proof and start to sample your work and then start to buy your work, and then you create the relationship with them. And the type of relationship you need in this new world of endless tail marketing. There are no bookshelves online. You can keep marketing to new audiences and new people over time, and your book may have new relevance because of something that happens in the world. So you need to have a type of marketing system that allows you to have touch points that are affordable, scalable, and allow you to touch your customers over time. And that's really our vision for Bublish, is to, we've started with this branding tool, which is also a sampling tool for the readers, and it travels also with a lot of metadata around it. So there are keywords you put in, which can help with SEO, because we know that this is a lot for authors to learn. So any way that we can automate the marketing, where you do the content and we'll do the technology lift for you, that's the kind of partnership we see with authors.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's what's critical. I mean, we have a minute or so here before our next break, but I'm, for example, I'm looking on the site as we're talking right now, mm-hmm. and it says genre preference. We have 3 different genre preferences, and I'm sure these are coming from a standard, but I'm telling you that one of the challenges, these are really standard, and I'm seeing more and more go into deep dive. And one of the things I'd love to do is, if you can, do an expansion of that. I mean, and I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at primary. And let me ask you this: if I put in primary, for example, I write about writing and publishing. That's what my focus is right now. Okay, there's no category called writing and publishing. So do I put it under professional? Do I put it under there's not even a reference. Is it not? It's not really how to, so to speak. Where do you?
Well, we can, yeah. And the other thing you can do is also put in keywords. So you can put in the topics of interest. So that would also be a way that we see down the road, a kind of Pandora-like that goes beyond genre, because I do see, and I'm sure
we're going to take a quick break and come back to that, because I think this is the category thing is a huge issue for authors. Where do I belong? It's
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these on the Rockstar Radio Network.
Since 1987, Color House Graphics has set the standard for quality book production. Whether you decide to print a small quantity of books or need a large print run, depend on Color House to help you. You'll receive professional help and advice the moment you reach one of our representatives. If you mention hearing about us on your guide to book publishing with Judith Briles, we will provide you a discount on the first order you place. To speak with a project manager, call us toll-free at 800-454-1916 or visit us at www.colorhousegraphics.com.
When Ned Thompson and Harry Shore started Thompson Shore in 1972, they believed employees with great character would make up the best company. They were right. They hired people who were not only experts in bookmaking, but who were obsessed with quality and delivering exceptional customer service. Almost 40 years later, Thompson Shore remains a 100% employee-owned company. Ned and Harry knew that successful customer projects are a direct result of empowered employees. We specialize in all books for large and small publishers. Creating beautiful and well-made books, we're dedicated to pleasing our customers by making the experience a good one from start to finish. The personal touch we have with our customers allows us to be innovative in solving their most difficult challenges. Our platform also ensures that we can remain flexible to meet our customers' unique needs and expectations. Our marketing kit can create buzz for your title title, Enhancing the Promotion of Your Book During Infancy. When you need to test the market to gauge your future sales, we can provide digitally printed books that will transition seamlessly into a larger offset run. From ebook to hard copy to delivery, our skillful customer service teams are at the ready to answer your most pressing questions. At Thompson Shore, we know that making the highest quality books requires more than just best technologies. It requires superior customer service, professionalism to the trade, and commitment to environmental and social values. With these standards of excellence in place, you can be sure that we will always help you put your best book forward.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask on the Rockstar Radio Network. Coming up, you'll hear more about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
It is Kathy Weiss, and we are talking about bubbles, author bubbles, book bubbles, marketing, discovery, branding, promoting you. We have a new platform called Bublish, Bublish.com, and right now it's the fabulous four-letter word, free. So I would encourage all of you who are listening in to go to Bublish.com, and if you have a book, you need it in e-format to play the game right now. And eventually there'll be, Kathy was mentioning offline when we took a break, that they will have other forms, or there's other forms coming along where there'll be a quick ability to convert. Is that correct, Kathy?
Right. Well, that you could upload, say, a Word document or a PDF, and we could convert it for you so that you don't have to go offline. But there are a number of free resources that we put our authors in touch with, and they often come back in a few hours with an EPUB version. So even if you're not selling a digital version of your books, you can use Bublish to promote your books and build your brand if you're willing to just do the conversion. And there are a number of free tools that you can use to do that.
Well, I would be interested in having you send me some of those free tools
Sure.
Because everyone's trying to figure out what they are. I mean, one of the discussion I had with a group, I did a Skype interview out of France the other day. So it always amazes me how much clearer I could have with European connections than I can with domestically in the United States. But oh well. What their variables here and what they can do in the e-format. And what I was sharing is that I'm seeing more and more wanting to come back to domestic conversion because of some of the cultural hiccups that they're seeing when conversions have gone to Malaysia and the Philippines and even India, that's kind of come back very messy. So, there's got to be some way, and frankly, free's really fabulous, but I also recognize that people have to get paid for these services as long as they're really reasonable, and I'm not going to have to cash in my last gold coin. And so with that, we always want tips on who they are out there, and so if you can share those, that would be excellent.
Yeah, sure. So Calibur is Calidre is a free conversion tool that authors can use. Sigil, which is a Google, I believe, open source portal for conversion. And I'd be glad to send you
Sure.
something you could post on the website so that, authors can actually have the links to that. I don't know if your authors are familiar with Smashwords, but part of the what they provide is a free conversion to EPUB, and you can put your book up on their platform for sale. You can also hire them to be your distributor.
No, Smashwords is great. Mark Coker is my opening keynote at the Author U Extravaganza.
Wonderful.
All right.
Well, he's fabulous and so smart, and we're so willing to share his knowledge and the statistics that he's gathered, by growing Smashwords to such a huge platform, and they provide you. We've had authors bring their EPUBs from Smashwords over to Bublish to upload to promote their books on Bublish. So, but I'd be happy to send you a list of all of them. But those are probably the top three that I'm aware of. And so the one thing is, if you want to do the work, look at Caliber and Sigil. If you want to have it done for you, go to Smashwords. Because they have an automatic EPUB conversion system. So, and I think that
does Smashwords have the capability of converting a PDF, or does it have to be a Word doc?
I think it has to be a Word doc there, but there are I can't name them off the top of my head, but you can do PDF to EPUB, but it's a little bit trickier. There's a little bit more there, but those things do exist.
Okay, well, here's a challenge.
And they are free as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, here's a challenge that authors are coming up with, because by the time they get their book, if they've gone through professional layout and all that, by the time you get into that stage and you've gone through multiple stages, rounds of corrections, the original Word document has morphed many times over. And it's only a root structure at this point. Mm-hmm. The real true thing is sitting in the PDF, the final book. And that's where the process has got to get to, so that what gets converted is the final book, because now they go through the whole process again of all those corrections. And for me, I know with all the authors we work with, it's just not one round. We have 3 rounds of corrections before we're done.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's my background's in editing, so those workflows I understand. And yeah, that and they do exist. It is a little bit trickier to do that conversion, but the tools do exist, and there are free tools to do that. So I'd be glad to send you some resources for that. But I think the thing is, and it's a little bit, if you think of it like browsers, so there are standards that are created. The EPUB file is a standard. Not everyone adheres to the standard, and also you have the big retailers all trying to have a proprietary program. So, Mobi on Amazon and iBooks has its own layer that they add to the standard. So it's a little bit daunting for authors because, and that's why we promote very strongly the standard, because we believe it will make it easier for authors in the long run to use one digital standard, so that they can be read across multiple devices. But like any standard, there's a lot of competitive forces pulling at that standard.
Well, and that is true. That there isn't, unfortunately, there isn't standards. and
there's a standard that not everyone adheres to, yeah.
Yeah. The standard is that there's not a standard. That's the standard. And trying to get something that is constant. I mean, and one of the dilemmas that a lot of the authors have, okay, so if I go with Amazon and I do KDP only, then I eliminate Smashwords and Nook and Kobo and the other game players out here. Or do I just throw it out all at once? And those are strategies that we have to look at. Do we want to do exclusive with Amazon and see what happens in KDP land and stay put? Or do you just want to go ahead and do the blitz and move it out? And I don't know if you have any insight into that.
Well, I have a couple of thoughts on it, and one of them comes from the mindset of an author. I mean, if you think, Amazon is the dominant player, especially in the digital space. So, if you want to start there, it's not a dumb decision to start with someone who owns that much of the marketplace. That being said, my background is in economics and coming from Forbes, and I love competition in the marketplace. And so if you think of it long term, you never want one market player to have too much power. So you as an author can make a decision to create a bigger marketplace by being available other places. The other thing that I think authors need to think about right from the start, because it's happening so quickly, is the move because of social to international. So you need to look at players who can get you into markets overseas as well. And there are places where, say, a Kobo dominates over Amazon because they were there and established the market first. And I think that hole in the world of self-publishing where in a digital age, you don't have the problem with rights, which was a big barrier to entry to international markets. And you have to remember that English is spoken as a second language in more countries than it is as a first language. So huge market potential there. And then I think, you need to realize that the distribution channels now with digital, you're not shipping books to these countries, you're just delivering them via these marketplaces. So it doesn't hurt to really kind of do your homework, and you can test the market. That's the other thing when I talk about premium accounts on Bublish. There are authors who will find their audience in the middle of the night because of the time differences, and we want to be able to rise those types of metrics to the surface so they can start to talk to global audiences. There's no reason
I love that idea.
That you can't. There's no reason in social that you can't talk to your audience. Your book may be set somewhere where it would, just resonate, or just have a tie-in, or just resonate as a theme, or a popular genre there that maybe it's not as popular where you're marketing it now. So I think the potential is huge, and you just want to be informed when you do choose your retailers, and you should experiment as well and see if they deliver. But think long term is my advice.
Which is critical, and what you do bring about the global and the social, and I mentioned earlier that I had a conference in France last week, and of course they're 8 hours ahead of me, so you get that all together. But you have to do your postings, and when you're doing social media, it's just not all between 8 and 10 in the morning that so many seem to be glued on. No, it is 24/7, so you've got to do strategic postings. I haven't been brave enough to start posting at 3 a.m. in the morning because I think I might have people hitting me, but that and setting it up. but with that said, it's critical that you've got to think that we have this huge world out here.
Yeah, we already, because Bublish is so tied to social marketing. About 5% of our users are in the UK, growing. We have people in China who published, and if you use, social tools like Hootsuite, you can throw out little pieces of your content in the middle of the night and just start to...
As you should. All right, we'll be right back.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these on the Rockstar Radio Network.
Do you sell stuff? Do you want to sell books? Lots of them? If yes, you must take credit cards, the most widely used form of payment today. The free terminal has created a special program for your guide to book publishing listeners. No contract, all equipment is free, extremely low rates, and no termination fees ever. Contact Alan Dean at alan@thefreeterminal.com or call him at 303-668-6828. The free terminal has handled all credit card transactions for both author you and Judith for over a year. Don't wait another day. Contact Alan at thefreeterminal.com or call 303-668-6828 and tell him you want the no contract author you deal.
The book shepherding concept is simple. The publishing world is changing, and so must you. You need an experienced shepherd and a guide to partner with you as you create, strategize, develop, publish, and achieve your publishing goals. You can't do it alone without paying the price. You can spend your money creating a book that turns out to be so-so, or you can create a book that looks and feels classy, builds your brand, and is a financial success, a bestseller. It's your choice. You choose. You need the book shepherd. Publishing is riddled with obstacles, sometimes nightmares for the author. You don't need problems, you want solutions. Dr. Judith Briles will shepherd you through the maze and the chaos. At times, she's had to step in and rescue a book that has been sabotaged by a publisher or by a publishing service provider or sometimes even the author themselves. Judith Briles is the book shepherd if you want to create a book with no regrets. Give her a call today, 303-885-2207. That's 303-885-2207, or email her at judith@briles.com. By the way, Briles is spelled B-R-I-L-E-S. Follow Judith on Twitter at MyBookShepherd and on Facebook at The Book Shepherd.
At Total Printing Systems, customer service is our priority. We are located in Southern Illinois. Our employees have an average of 18 years experience and know that customer relationships are important to our continued success. We have been a short-run book printer for nearly 40 years and always stay at the forefront of technology. Our niche is from 1 to 5,000 copies. Today, we offer digital, black and white, and 4-color high-speed inkjet printing, a cost-effective way to introduce color into your short-run titles. We, of course, offer traditional offset printing as well. Bindery is done in-house, from adhesive case binding to PUR perfect binding to mechanical binding of all types, including side sewing. We provide warehousing, kitting, distribution, inventory management, a new print-on-demand facility, streaming browser-based ebooks, and bookstore. Call us at 1-800-465-5200 for a quote on your next book project. You can also visit our website at www.tps1.com.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask on the Rockstar Radio Network. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Alrighty, so with me today is Bubbles, like book bubbles, author bubbles, and the woman behind the bubble movement is Kathy Mice, who really runs a wonderful free platform called Bublish, B-U-B-L-I-S-H. So you're able to create a whole new way to connect with readers. This is really for readers to find you. And Kathy, it might be great to let's talk about how this is different from Goodreads, because that's the way people think that's the way readers find you, is Goodreads.
Yeah, and Goodreads is a great discovery platform. It's very much designed reader-to-reader recommendations. This is a really powerful branding tool, and I would love, Judith, if you know, there's a way on the blog, on one of your blogs, to be able to show a book bubble, because they are so visual. And this is really a way for you to content market in the social space. So, you know, if you're a reader and you're on Goodreads, that's a great place to discover. And I really recommend that authors are on a lot of discovery sites, because, you know, we have so many ways that we can connect with that little thing that grabs our attention, and then it draws us toward the author's work. So we play very much in the social space. So in the readers do not need to be signed in or be members of Bublish to encounter your book bubble, to read an excerpt, to learn about the story behind the excerpt in the author insight, to see your photo, to see your book cover, to read a bio, to visit your website, to explore a synopsis of the book, or even buy the book right in the social space. As we evolve the platform, there'll be a lot more going on for readers and writers on Bublish.com, but our goal was never to be a walled garden. It was always to make sure that in order to publish a bubble, you must share it socially. And that workflow was designed specifically to make sure we were never a walled garden. No one needs to come and find you on Bublish. They can find you where they're hanging out. And the more you can seed the marketplace with little samples of your voice and your work, It is, to an extent, it is a numbers game and it is a quality game, and you have to have both. And that was really the intent of Bublish, was to give you the ability to create something quickly that had the quality, because your book is your best writing, and then the author insight, if you think of the director's cut, so a sampling of your voice, your creation story, and it just puts at your fingertips a really very powerful marketing tool in the social space.
So when you're on Bublish, so how do we then, would you pick up, and are there links that you would incorporate that would then be visually able to be seen, whether it's on Pinterest or Facebook or any of the other areas, or is it just exclusively tied in with Bublish?
No, you would, if you're an author and you share a book bubble on Facebook, anyone on Facebook who can encounter that and share it again with their network if they like it. So we do a lot of events for our authors throughout the week. We have a bubble of the week. We have live interviews on Twitter. We have the Bublish Floating Bookstore on Monday. We have the Sample Saturday and Sample Sunday marathons. So we are spreading the bubbles around that you create, and then people pick those up, and there's lots of retweeting. So again, it's a way to tap into that network effect that you get in the social space when someone connects with your content and wants to share it. And that's, it's kind of unlocking the sample, as it were. When you have to always drive people to one spot to find your content, it gets really difficult to keep doing that. So, we believe very strongly in the author website, but this is a way to just throw a lot of pieces of your content out and then draw people towards your website. And I will also say, we believe very strongly that there's a kind of a pull marketing that happens in the social space, so you draw people towards your site, and then a push marketing, and we're developing a new program for authors where they can do email blasts based on price. We think that is a very powerful discovery tool, price, especially for authors without the brands yet. So they can sign up for one-day blasts where we will send emails into the people who have selected your genre and take a look at it and sample your work. They can actually sample a book bubble right in the email, and then they can either sign up or explore more of your work on Bublish. So we believe in pull marketing and push marketing. So that's coming soon.
Yeah, so some of these bubbles then would be ideal to pop on a board on Pinterest. Would that be correct?
Yes, we have what we do now, what you can do is it's like a two-step process, because we have not built the API for Pinterest, and it does not recognize our pages as images. So what people can do is just create an image and put the link behind it, and then people can go to the live book bubble. And we do that for our authors who are chosen for Bubble of the Week and our bookstores as well. But there is a way you can also, you can take the link and put it onto Google+. You can put the link anywhere you want. Now you can also embed bubbles in your website, so people can have something to share from your website. You can also a place to engage right there on your website with samples and not have to leave, and they're kind of all in one place, and they're heavily branded with your face and your book cover and that type of thing. And buy your book right there too.
You said my book where?
You can buy. We work with all the major online retailers. So if you embed a book
on Amazon,
right. You could buy it from any of the major retailers, but the buy button travels with the book bubble. So.
So, and why don't we just say to everyone, people wondering, my God, you're doing all this stuff, Kathy. How can it be free? Well, what happens is that Kathy is an affiliate with Amazon. So if people are linking through and going to Amazon and buying a book, then Bublish will get a commission from Amazon. It does not come out of the author's pocket. They need to understand that. It's like if you were, now I live in Colorado, we cannot have affiliate relationships because Colorado and Amazon got into a pissing contest. and and over taxes. So Amazon can't be here. They can't even come and speak here. It's really crazy.
Wow.
But I know it's crazy. But so you have that going on. But there are most of the other states that, you could, if you carried other books and recommended books from your websites, and people clicked on that and went to Amazon and bought it, guess what? You'd get a little commission. So it's there's always a little price tag out there, but if you can get the other person to pay it, it doesn't come out of your pocket, that's a happy dance all the way.
Yes, and that was our goal. I mean, we know, that the authors are really, they're stretched.
Here we go. I hate to close you off. Kathy Mice, Bublish, go to it, start playing with it. This is Judith Briles. We'll be back with you next week on Your Guide to Book Publishing.
Thanks for having me, Judith.
Uh-huh.
Thank you for being a part of Your Guide to Book Publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles.